Yep. I have it open on my side. Yep. Yep. It's on Facebook. We're online Facebook, online Periscope, online YouTube, Honeypot Marketing. Yep. Yep. Yes, I can see us on Facebook right now. Yep. Oh, your computer case looks so cool on your screen now. I was about to say. Yeah, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. Cable management on those is just annoying because it has a whole glass front, so you want to make it sure it like looks nice, you know. Yeah, so you don't want to. Yeah, I know.
We are live.
We're live?
We're live.
Nice.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Live at the Hive, episode 128. My name is Dan Nedelko.
Miguel?
I'm Miguel Morales.
Matt Stefanich, producer Matt.
And Miguel broke his mic. Do we have sad trumpet music? Sad trumpet sounds? Womp,
Yeah.
Womp, womp. What was the story there, Miguel? What happened?
Just iPhone earphones, and then I woke up and then I stepped on it and I was like, it's okay, I'll get another pair, it's fine. And we live.
And we live.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, audio is the most important thing, so there you
go.
This is where we learn from our mistakes.
This is, you know what, it's like I say, it's organic, it's fine, we'll get through it. And I just wonder if you notice in the corner of my screen the cool LED spinning lights. Ooh.
I said something before we went live. It looks awesome.
It is a fun case. It's the IQ220T, just in case anybody knows. The only thing I will say about that case, after the 3 hours it took me to disassemble my PC and put it back together, is that it is a mid-tower ATX case. You might want to get the larger version. It's a tight squeeze in there. Oh. Yeah,
I bet.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Hannah, Stacy, Courtney, Matt. Hi, Matt. Miguel. Hi, Miguel. We got Yvonne, Chad, Sergio. The whole hive is here right now.
Awesome.
Cool. So today we're going to be talking about creative business pivots that have been happening over the COVID-19 lockdown. And some tips for all small businesses that to be able to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of these are really easy to do. You just have to kind of go to the right resource in order to get it going, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, some of these pivots are harder and stronger than others, like Real Foods, Real Kids had to really retool. The one really feel-good story. I don't know. Do you guys have any one that you had picked out that you thought you saw and you thought was pretty interesting? No?
Oh, I was waiting for Miguel. Sorry. I know last week we talked about Central and the great work that they're doing. I think that was a really good feel good for me for the past week or so. I mean, I'm hearing stories across the board, even from companies maybe outside of Canada that are helping people through a tough time. But I'm also hearing some really unfortunate stories of businesses who haven't really taken a position yet, and they're kind of offering things, but at the same time they're not. So it's kind of, I think there's still a lot of people on the fence about how to respond to COVID-19. I think a lot of people are kind of like, you know what, let's kind of ignore it right now and see if it kind of, if we don't have to do anything. Some people are going over and beyond, which is great, but yeah, for sure, it's definitely still divided in terms of how people are approaching it, and it's interesting to see it unfold.
It totally is. One of the most interesting ones, and actually it's a real feel-good story, is the story of InkSpace 3D. And they're local to Waterloo region, which is kind of cool, but they've been getting national coverage. We're going to cover them more in depth, but basically they were 3D makerspace, 3D printing. And what they were able to do was actually get clearance from Health Canada, so they had an approved face mask, like a plastic shield. They tooled up, got space, hired 100 people. Nice. And I'm not sure how many of those face masks that they're producing for frontline workers, but I want to say it's about 100,000, but we'll have a look. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's awesome, and I think there's a lot. I think even on a community level, there's a lot of stories in Kitchener-Waterloo of people even making masks at home in mass and sending them to hospitals, or even handing them out to other community initiatives in order to pass out to people like the homeless throughout the Kitchener-Waterloo region, people who don't have access to masks, etc. So I think there's kind of like it's almost like people are calling it a war effort almost, and it really is. It's on a grand scale, right? So it's definitely feel good these times for sure.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's dive in to the first what's new, and then we'll get down to what's working. And what's working is where we're going to cover how your business can pivot and some examples of businesses that have pivoted creatively. I do want to do a shout out for Matej, his 2-year anniversary today.
Hey. Happy 2 years, Matej.
Happy 2 years, Matej. So what we did today, and in part in support of obviously local economies, I think one of the most easiest things that you can do, especially, the hard hit ones are, the restaurants. It's got to be terribly tough.
For sure.
Skip the Dishes is one of my favorites. There is DoorDash, but I just prefer Skip the Dishes. They do contactless drop off, and I mean, it took me 25 minutes, and I had some great from Royal Indian in Cambridge. I had some great butter chicken for lunch.
Nice, right on.
Yeah, so we all had we did a Slack call. We did a virtual lunch for a half hour and just kind of hung out. What did you guys have, by the way, for lunch?
I ordered Vietnamese food from the Ginger restaurant off the street.
Nice.
Great. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, right on. I just kept it simple with the pizza, but pizza's always good.
You can't go wrong. You can't go
wrong.
Okay, let me just start my watch party, and then we'll get going here. Okay. Boom and boom. There we go. Sorry, my computer crashed about 10 minutes before the live was about to start. Just cuz, right?
Just Friday things, right?
Just Friday things and stuff. Okay, so our first story, and this really is kind of cool. I got a slightly different layout for the for our screen today. Just mixed it up a bit. So let me know if you guys can't see it. And what we'll be doing is hopefully somebody on our social magic team could drop these links as we go through into the Facebook chat. That would be fantastic. Eyeballs all over social. The rise of TikTok. This is kind of a crazy story. It's about a week old, so it's a little dated. But NFL scored 580 million views with their draft day TikTok challenge.
For sure. Yeah, that's insane.
It's I don't know about you guys, but my social media use has certainly skyrocketed. Hey, Jody Sabulski, my old friend Jody, is joined us.
Hey, Jody.
Fantastic craftsman now. That's like custom kitchens and carpentry. Yeah, so I mean, social media consumption, we've covered it the last couple of weeks, is just blowing up, completely blowing up, right? The numbers that these groups are getting on things like TikTok are just astounding. Like 580 million views is pretty crazy.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, and yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just about to say, like, it's interesting because I've been using TikTok a little bit more a little more frequently than usual, and I think it's there's a quite increase of content that's being produced on the platform due to people being home, and it's especially, I think there's a lot of Zoomers out there that are creating the content. You know what I mean? And there is this opportunity right now on TikTok where more people are using it more than ever, just because they have a little bit more free time. They have more time to spend on social media, right? So people are making content, people are consuming content on a greater frequency than ever before, right? So to be honest, when I'm looking at the article that you have up right now, it doesn't surprise me at all. And I think they even did something with Ninja on there as well, right, Dan?
They did Ninjas with the NFL. They did. I'm not sure. I think this was actually part of it. Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, Miguel, are you a TikTok guy? You a TikToker?
Yeah, I've been making some TikToks on my private account, as like the longer we stay in here is because like it's like a nice way to express. I actually watched that one movie Cats, and the one day that the last song Moonlight hit me so hard that I ended up doing like a bunch of like the TikTok dances to it, just being like, week 3 memories, but a Moonlight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, you know, it's interesting how the NFL, for example, has pivoted and adapted. Obviously, they did a virtual draft online. Lots of memes came out of that. The dance challenge, with even Roger Goodell participating in the dance challenge. And I think what this means is, if you kind of look at it pragmatically, is businesses are really embracing social now. And I think that's going to be part of this new normal, right?
For sure. Yeah. Businesses that haven't, people are kind of like, I know we've talked about it months and months ago, where we see businesses that are traditional, right? And they don't see a real value in social media anymore. And it's quite sad, but I think right now people's eyes are opening up, and they realize that they need to be on social media right now if they want to continue their business in a lot of ways, right? If you're not on social media right now, your business is pretty much out in the cold, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's where people are communicating, right? It's just this kind of massive fire hose. And having said that, rolling right into our next story here. This is a pretty interesting development on Facebook's part. I don't think a lot of people know this, but Facebook has introduced messenger rooms. This is in large part in response to Zoom's popularity.
Yes.
So let's see here. So you can create a messenger room. You can easily invite friends or your community. Oh, Courtney's got a comment here. After years of convincing businesses that social media has true ROI value, I'm holding back a told you so. I'm not. I told you so.
No, for real.
Yeah. I think the unfortunate thing is some businesses will say, well, influencers inside of the business or stakeholders will say, well, I don't use social, therefore I don't care. And my response to that would be like, it doesn't matter that you don't like TikTok, for example, when 100 million people do, or more. Then
it's like, I don't really get Pinterest, but like, I know for a fact that's a great way to reach out to a certain demographic.
Yep.
And I can't overlook it just because I personally on my own time don't understand or want to interact with that app. I think that's like a little bit nearsighted, but hopefully they'll learn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this article. That's
yeah.
They have a lot of great features that they're implementing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what? I think some of this stuff they already had it. You know what I mean? And they're just rolling it out really quickly. So right now you create a room for Messenger or Facebook and invite anyone to join your video call. Even if they don't have a Facebook account, rooms will soon hold up to 50 people with no time limit.
That's insane.
And, typically, I mean, yes, there are businesses that have 200-300 people, but 50 is a pretty decent number for, I think, a lot of the use cases.
You could get a party going with 50 people on a call.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Hey, nice job, guys. I love our branded short link, by the way.
Looks so clean.
It's so clean and crisp and not bitly. Yay. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this announcement by Facebook. You can share rooms through news feeds, groups, and events. Now, you create an event, you attach your Facebook Meet, flip it on, and there you go. Really nice, and I think the big thing is it's seamless and easy. It's something people are already comfortable with, right?
For sure.
So my wife has a unique business with I don't know how many, 300-400 people on her team. This is something that she can launch group calls, right? And off you go. Next up in that one is WhatsApp has expanded their group calls. So if you're into WhatsApp and you like the privacy features of the end-to-end encryption, that's a great route to go as well.
For sure.
Yeah. And new live video.
I'm really interested in.
Yeah, right? Facebook is bringing back live with, so you can add another person into your live video, have a guest, no matter where they are in the world, interview somebody, or just do whatever with a friend. One of the things that we're suggesting a lot, and I know we've been banging the drum on this a lot, is using Facebook Live, Instagram, IGTV, Instagram Live, whichever platform makes the most sense for you. I personally would suggest Facebook. The Facebook's usage is just astronomical. They've grown their business, right? Even though the ad revenues have come down and CPMs, cost per impressions, have dropped, which is good for marketers. And if you're going to send a message out, it's less expensive. But they've been absolutely busy. So really great to see them bringing back live with. You can mark Facebook events now as online only, which is great. And some of this stuff might not be in your region yet, but it will be very soon. Anybody else want to cover one of these? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, I think, look, the Facebook Live only events where you can create a Facebook event and mark it only online, I think that's just a natural thing that that was going to be implemented eventually. But nonetheless, it's a great addition to the platform. Another one in here that I really like is with live streams now, say that you can't watch the live stream because you have a really spotty internet connection or you have a data limit on your cellular device. You can actually now opt in to listen to only the audio of the live stream, which is fantastic. It's actually pretty nice. And then there's also, this is kind of interesting for me just because other live streaming platforms have a certain currency that they use in order to support their creators. Facebook has one called Stars. We haven't really heard too much about it just because it's very limited right now on who really kind of gets it. But they're actually expanding it now to more pages. So basically, you can purchase these stars, send them to your favorite creator in chat, and they'll earn 1 cent for every star that you send their way. So it's going to be it's a very interesting way. And I know, Dan, you and I have kind of talked about the rise of Facebook gaming in the past couple of weeks. And definitely, I think with COVID and the new kind of features that they're implementing to Facebook Live, I can only see that growing more and more, right?
Well, I think Facebook is taking an opportunity here to roll out features that they've had. Like, for example, I really like the idea of tournaments built into Facebook gaming. That's really, really interesting. And the Facebook gaming, to me, feels, where you get on Twitch, and I don't want to turn this into a Facebook, like a gaming esports thing. Facebook gaming feels a lot more casual. It's like the casual gamers are there, the entertainment gamers. They're not grinding in Fortnite competitive or, any of those types of things. There are some, for sure. But these types of live features are pretty impactful, I think, and creators being able to monetize fairly on these platforms is a really good thing. I think the other thing that's going to happen is this whole world of the side hustle for a lot of people is going to become much more real, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
When, that's what my wife is seeing with her unique business, for example, is because people lost their jobs and now they're ready to take it really seriously because that's got to be a scary feeling, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. On Instagram, like this thing just goes on and on. It's kind of crazy. You can set up a virtual date on Facebook dating. There you go. That's of no interest to me at all. Okay. Just joking.
Yeah.
Watch and comment on live videos from your desktop. Follow along on the, yoga class. And soon you'll be able to use Instagram Live and save those videos to IGTV so they stick around longer than the 24-hour limit in stories, and you can build out a library.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
That'll be really useful for content.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and clip up your lives, get like whatever snippets you have there.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's awesome, right? And then repurpose them, and then use them in your feed or in your stories. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that we're doing a lot with Live at the Hive, right? Is starting to clip them into smaller ones and doing waveform videos and also just clip videos.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Wow, like that one was so long. It took us like.
Well, there's a lot in there, and I
lot
think
to
we need to
unpack
cover it all. I mean, everyone in the chat can kind of go in there and look at the article. There's a lot more to dive into, but that's basically the TLDR of the article for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, moving right along, because I do want to kind of get to these business transformations and pivots, because I think there's a lot of really good stories in this.
Yeah.
And I also do definitely, if any of you out there are watching and you know someone with a business that is trying to figure out what to do, how to pivot, what you can do during this time, we're going to repeat some things we've already said, and we've got some other new ideas for you. So
Yep.
moving right along. In this one, we'll do a twofer. If you have a restaurant, I would strongly encourage anybody to go set up a 90-day Shopify free account. Take advantage of this while it's here. If you have a knowledge-based business, you can sell digital products, or at least give digital products away for free, right? Having a way to engage your customers, right? Or your clients. Adrian Constant would be very happy to know about Facebook video clips too. Yes, indeed he would. My question is, where is Adrian Constant? Just joking. Okay, so if you have a business, go set up your 90-day Shopify. There's a lot of features. And if you're an accountant and you're thinking about, gee, what can I do? Set up a Shopify store, and you can set up digital downloads. It's relatively easy. We'll find a how-to and we'll drop it down here. And you don't even have to sell things, but you can give your customers and your clients maybe their checklists or some forms and how-tos and different things like that. So I would challenge, this is not just for retailers, but people in the knowledge industries. You can use Shopify for digital products as well. Okay. Yeah. So Shopify launched the consumer-facing shopping assistant app. If I believe the tweets in this article, it's been downloaded 16 million times already, which is amazing.
Oh.
And this is a really, really great. I mean, people can say what they want about Shopify, but I do think that their mission of enabling entrepreneurs is really great in general. And the shop is created so you can discover local businesses and get relevant product recommendations from brands checkout and track all of your online orders. A really great way to support your local small businesses that maybe you didn't even know were there, but you want to support your local business.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for small business like that, especially with like hidden gems. Like I know a lot of the appeal is a bit being hidden, but now you get to be like consumer facing. Like you can be featured. I think it's like if it's there, like you said, if it's there for free, might as well set it up.
Yeah,
take the chance.
And I think it's really important for retailers to act like Amazon. Be Amazon. Don't be scared to put your products online to get yourself educated about how e-commerce works. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to accelerate. This is accelerating online grocery shopping, online food ordering, right? Yep. All of these different things. So if you're a business owner in retail, and like if you have a comic book store, then go online, sell those comic books online. Find digital products you can sell. But I think mentally, put yourself in the position that you are like an Amazon. That's how you're going to think. And Shopify does have tools to enable you to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Shop is definitely really cool here. Let's see. There we go. So it's got a package tracker. I mean, you can do things with Shop and with Shopify that really, are very Amazonish, without having to dump a huge investment into a tech stack.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And I think it's like if you're worried that maybe there's not a public, there's not like anyone interested, it's take the casual dating advice. There is someone out there for you, and they will find you. So just put yourself out there.
I like it.
It's time to get out there.
That's a good analogy for sure.
So good.
Yeah, and I mean, the other part of this is act like a media company, right? Create content. Like there's so much content that anybody that has a business, that started a business, you are literally a fountain of in-depth knowledge, whatever it is, right? If you have a bike shop, you know tons about bikes. If you have a comic book and collectible store, if you have a computer store, if you're an accountant, you're a hairdresser, like now, go online, show people how to do haircuts at home. You'll grow
big right now.
Please.
You'll hugely grow your business, right? Yeah. I mean, in anticipation of the future. So with that in mind, Shopify is also, now this comes from a little bit of a probably ugly spat between MailChimp and Shopify, so we won't go into marketing drama. But that was
not this episode.
Not this episode.
We usually have a special episode for the marketing drama.
It's too much. We could. We'll just do one episode of marketing drama, and there's quite a bit that does happen.
Yeah, just spill the tea.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, unfortunately, Gary V took tea with Gary V, which just a lucky name rhyme for him. That worked well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which, if you haven't had a chance to check out Tea with Gary V, it's actually very well done. He basically interviews people constantly for, I think, an hour and just takes their questions. All sorts of different people. So Shopify has built, I checked one of my stores. Nothing there yet, but it's coming. So Shopify's email marketing tool, and I think what's happening here is so Shopify email will allow you to use features like MailChimp that would give you, but right within the platform. So it's an email marketing tool. I think it's free for the first 2,500 email cents and $1 USD for every 1,000 after that. And the interesting thing is, so this email marketing tool is going to be for free initially, I think. I don't think they're even going to charge for it. But the important thing, I think, to recognize here is as Shopify continues to progress as a company, a lot of these, what they've recognized is the absolute importance of marketing, right?
Yep.
You can have the greatest online store, but if you don't market it, right, ain't gonna make any difference. Oh, we've got a comment from a new viewer, Sophia Lustgarten. Oh, geez, sorry, I'm mangling your name here. She's saying we have our product, Canadian grown Quinoa, sold on Amazon. Last year we sold average of 40-50 units per month. This year, March, 945 units sold. April, over 1,200 units sold. E-commerce is huge, and it's best time to take a chance and try it out. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Congratulations. Sophie. That's the kind of pivots we're talking about, right?
Yes. Is
to say, hey, you got your Shopify store, also have an Amazon store. These are the stories that are now inspiring. It is really inspiring to see entrepreneurial spirit really come to life, right? Mm-hmm. So that's amazing, sure. Sophia. Oh, and April's saying she buys your quinoa. There you go. Well, I'm going to buy my quinoa from you as well. Yeah. Actually, Sophia, if you wouldn't mind, drop us a link where we can pick it up, whether you have a Shopify store and Amazon store either, or feel free to drop it into the chat, and we will definitely share it with our network.
Sure.
That's really fantastic
awesome.
stuff. Yeah. So moving right along, let's start talking about some other pivots. And Sophia, would also be interested in chatting with you sometime about how you were prepared for this. And maybe you didn't. I don't know if it doesn't sound like you had to pivot because it sounds like you were already there, and really this situation just benefited you. Which is great, which is kind of, this is what has happened to people that had taken these things seriously, right? And things like social seriously. So moving right along, this one's also a very cool story. Now, I feel a lot of empathy for people in the live event space, or sympathy, since I didn't really do live events. I shouldn't say empathy. That's the wrong way to use it. But, Politico's an interesting company because a lot of these types of media codes these days are actually, they're not just a website and a membership. They have live events and they do podcasts. I mean, these are really pretty multifaceted types of groups, right? So if you get a chance, the YouTube link, if someone wouldn't mind dropping the YouTube link, this is an hour long. It's really good. I had it playing in the background this week during the day. There's a lot of knowledge bombs that these guys are dropping in this discussion. So what they did was they said, okay, South by Southwest is canceled. Their chief product officer said, look, our signature events are going to have to be reimagined or delayed, right? Now, it's 10% of their revenue. But what they did, which I found really interesting, was they didn't just say, hey, let's take our live event and virtualize it, right?
Yep.
They said, we've got to reimagine this thing completely from the ground up. So they have some great ones, and I don't think there's any screenshots in here, unfortunately. But so here's, for example, what they do on Politico. They have a premium video podcast. I believe it's a podcast and premium, where they'll interview. Oh, well, they're really Democratic leaning. So AOC, they'll have a 45-minute one-on-one with AOC, Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, right? And people will pay because her super fans are interested in having that kind of one-on-one, right? That's one of the series. But they really dive into how they deconstructed their live event strategy and reconstructed something completely new that would then complement a live event strategy, generate revenue. They've actually seen their revenues go up as well. And they did this very, very quickly. So like I said, that YouTube link, 1 hour really well spent. If you're interested, if you're in the live event space, I strongly recommend having a listen to this. It's really full of a lot of great info.
For sure.
Okay. And now for the feel-good story of the day. So, I would love to, I've resisted buying a 3D printer because it's one of those things I would probably buy and then sit in the corner for like months. But let me just, let's see here. I'm just going to flip back. So in Waterloo, there's a lot of maker spaces. It's a, Waterloo being the kind of Silicon Valley North. We have a lot of maker spaces and a lot of groups that do. They'll have. Hold on. They'll have a InkSmith. They'll have a series of 3D printers, and you can. I don't know if you're not familiar with 3D printers, they're pretty amazing things. You can basically go through and have designs that people share. It's like a CAD system, and it'll do 3D. April, I believe, has one. I don't know if April has one. Yeah. She has access to one.
Yeah, I had when I did a bunch of my co-ops, Kitchener Downtown Library. Actually, they have them for free use. You don't have to pay anything, and they have a computer there. Easy to use website. They even have little instructions.
Yep.
It takes a while just because they have it in the lowest setting, but like you would see people come in. You see kids like print like little things, and like people printing like little parts of their computers or like things around their house that they need. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of really feel good stories you can see here. So they offer plug and play technology solutions. There's their printer and the spools that can do it. It's really amazing. The cool thing about this is with 3D printing is you're able to do one-offs. I believe it's ventilators that have a small plastic piece that has to be changed, a valve that has to be changed whenever it switches to a different person, right? There was a huge problem with manufacturing those things, like tooling up a traditional factory. This I know for a fact is what the 3D community, printing community came together and literally started sharing the plans for all the different models, printed them up, and was able to send them to hospitals. So, that's the kind of an effect that 3D printing can have. So anyways, to get back to InkSmith, still a very cool company. They had 10 employees, immersive education solutions for 21st century learning. So lots of stuff about, robotics and 3D printers and laser cutting and virtual reality. Well, when this all happened, and I ran into it on Twitter here, I saw them, they got a design for the bands and for the face shield. So I'll just show you what the shield looks like here. The Canadian shield, a great name. And you can see here, it's a PPE face shield to really protect frontline workers. So they completely manufactured them. And so they started out and it was like, well, let's see if we can do this, right? Let's just kind of band together. They got the design nailed down. They were printing all the bands. They ended up getting approved. So they worked with local doctors, and now keep in mind, right? They did this in real time. Like this happened when the lockdown happened, and then they started, right?
Yeah.
So they're pretty cool. They're reusable shields. They're affordable. They have full coverage, compatible with other PPE. They're adjustable, comfortable design. There you go. You can see all the images of these frontline workers using these. So InkSmith pivoted in like 0 seconds flat because they had the flexibility of the 3D printing. They ended up I'm not sure how many they've produced. I don't want to say, but you can see here they're now hiring people. They went from 10 people to 100 people, staff, in a very short period of time. And they're still growing, and they're continually producing these. They've produced a ton. Like I'd have to kind of look at how much. But this is a great example of a company because they had the technology, but they also had the open-mindedness and innovation to say, hey, how do we one, help, and how do we create a business, right? And it's pretty amazing to me that they did this in a huge in a very short period of time. Sorry. They just secured a federal contract to produce 10 million shields for Canadian frontline workers. Absolutely incredible. Right?
It's great work.
Yeah. And I think a big part of this is having the open-mindedness and creativity to say, hey, what we were doing yesterday is not what we can do today. Right? And we can still be very effective, right? But by being totally creative and entrepreneurial. And it paid off for them in spades. Cool.
Oops. For sure.
Alrighty, so that's the feel-good story. All right, what do we have next? What do we got next?
What's working?
Yeah. Well, I think InkSmith really was the beginning of what's working. That's definitely an example.
For sure.
Let's see. Did you guys have anything out of any of these pivots that you wanted to cover? Because I've got one here.
Not from me. No, I think I'm looking at the list right now, and it looks. You want to start with the top?
Well, I was going to just look at just one other example here. This is a company called Spiffy. So what they would do is they go to you and they clean your car. And what they managed to do is come up with COVID-19 disinfection. So they created a new product, a new service, a whole new line. for your vehicle hard surfaces. Technicians give cars interior disinfect and wipe down, sanitizes 99.9999% of bacteria and viruses.
Nice.
And then a shield, EPA approved odorless grade. Again, just a really good example of thinking on your feet, being able to make that change very quickly, not get caught up in a bureaucratic discussion about whether you should or you shouldn't, just kind of hit the ground running and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so that's a camera I want to buy. Okay, so looking at some of this, so let's talk a little bit about some ideas for small business. So we've got a list up there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that list. If we want to cover any of those. Wow, we've got almost pushing 20 people. All right, guys, let's get to 20 live concurrent viewers.
Just in 17. Time.
Yes.
As soon as I say it, 17. All right. So do you guys see the list? Ways to pivot your business?
Yeah, for sure. So I think we can start with the online courses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that we've talked about, I think a couple months ago, but is kind of creating an online course that you can offer people in order to kind of give something to consumers, but also entice them and to use maybe some of your other resources as well. Some of the points that we have on here, it's just it's really low cost to create these courses online, and you really need zero technical experience. If you can write a how-to article, you can pretty well write out these courses, or you can even film them too. I know in the past, Dan, you've recorded a number of videos on guiding people how to do tasks, how to work new programs and things like that, how to integrate new software. And yeah, I think it's really simple off the top, but it's one of the most effective points we have on here.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in this. I love to see when people do it. We're also developing our own here. You can see I've put up, I've been building out internal training courses as well. And you know, it's just a good time to do it. Not that I have a ton of free time to do this, but if you don't have the technical knowledge, I think this is, a big pain point for a lot of people with businesses is they're scared of technology, right? And it's a psychological roadblock that people need to get over. The cool thing about Kajabi is whatever you do, whatever you do for a living, you can teach somebody. I think that goes without saying, right? So if you look at what Kajabi does, is what they're attempting to do is put everything in one place. Right? It's a website, it's a blog, email marketing, the course itself, the payment processing, so you can accept credit cards. Everything is in this platform, and it is not very expensive at all. You get a 14-day free trial.
Nice.
And look, we're not shilling anything at all for Kajabi. We don't have an affiliate arrangement with them. I've tested so many of these different types of platforms. It's ridiculous. But go to Kajabi. You can set it up, do the 14-day free trial, get your iPhone, Android, whatever your smartphone is, come up with a teaching course. And you know what? Don't feel bad about trying to sell something these days. It's okay. It's not against the law. You can give it away for free, for sure. But also don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to charge something, right, for people. And you can give out free discounts for people, that say, hey, I can't afford this, and just give them a discount code to get in for free.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Especially with hobbies, like you just said, you built a computer. I have no idea with that. You could easily sell me a course and be like, this is useful and I have the time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million things you could talk about. If you know how to knit, do a knitting course. If you cook, do classes on cooking. If you're a restaurant, do that. Like, be creative. Think about different ways. It's a big industry, learning management systems. And again, I'm just kind of scrolling through some of these features. They also have a great university in here if you're just learning and you really don't get it. They have a really good walkthrough with videos. Learn how to create a community, foster a community, and get yourself some recurring digital product revenue. It's a really great way to go.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
Miguel, why don't you pick one from the list? We'll go over it.
Well, I was really looking at the go live 3 to 5 days a week. I actually am just seeing, I think it's Planet Fitness. I don't want to be quoted on that, but it's a small gym that's starting to really promote that they do like live shows every day, like at 12 and 1. And it's something for at least how I am. It's going to get you up and motivated and teach you how to do free weight exercises. I think any small business right now, if you have that kind of knowledge, like you were just talking about, or if you have that kind of ability to lead a group of people, live streams, videos, anything like that, like if you can put it out there, people will want to use it, especially now, especially if it's like if we're talking about like home workout routines and health routines, like you're teaching a lot of people how to maintain healthy ways within themselves. So I think
sure. Yeah. So I again and yeah, I couldn't agree more. And look, if you have a fitness center, that's a no-brainer. Yoga studio, no-brainer. But if you're an accountant, go live. Come up with 10 questions and answer them yourself and go live. And the more keep going live and solicit people's questions. People have financial advice right now. They're confused. If you're a mortgage broker, people are not going to understand what's going on if they have a renewal coming up, or should they refinance. If you're a restaurant, go live with and again do a recipe. People will love it and they'll appreciate that.
Especially in like such a cultural diversity that we have, like there's so many opportunities. Like Matt, I know you've always talked about like taking like classes in cooking. Like I watched another small business, Cafe Pyrus. They were really bumping up, like going on social and giving out like background information about their employees and showing all the work they're doing. Like just having a presence is already doing enough.
Oh, for
offering
sure.
any kind of knowledge, like right now, valuable.
Absolutely. And like I said last week, I mean, the more you do your live videos, the more they're going to be shown within the algorithm. I know, like I said last week, a lot of people are a little bit hesitant and a little bit distraught when they do their first live video and they maybe only get like 2 or 3 viewers.
Don't worry about it.
But honestly, if you keep up with it, consistency is number one when you're doing these live videos. If you're consistent with it, you're going to see your growth. You just have to be patient and you have to get through those tough times of maybe 2 to 3 viewers. You know what I mean? Encourage people to share at the end, create clips like we do with Live at the Hive. It's very easy to do. You don't need a huge technical experience, but the more and more you do it, the better it's going to be for you. And you just have to be patient. And
I think get rid of that fear, right? Get rid of that fear and just swallow it and do it. As another example, this is an idea for restaurants that I think is interesting. So you have Chef's Plate, right? Matt, you did that, or I'm not sure if you did HelloFresh or which one you did.
Yeah, I do those quite a bit.
Yeah. So if you're a restaurant, you're thinking, okay, now I'm shut down. Man, what am I going to do? There's a bunch of things a restaurant can do. Productize like your sauces, your spices, your secret recipes, right? Turn them into a packaged good and sell it, right? With the brand of your restaurant. The other thing you could consider doing is consider putting together a HelloFresh style where it's like, look, instead of us cooking it for you, here are all the ingredients and the instructions, right? And maybe it's a little bit less expensive, but you have a different revenue line that you can then turn to with a store. Like, how does a restaurant create a store, right?
And you're not wasting any of your product then too, right? Like I know I've heard stories of a lot of businesses, they've had to give away product to their employees because it was going to be going bad. They've had to stockpile, a lot of it's gone bad too, you know what I mean? So it's another way to solve problems like that for sure.
Yep, absolutely. We've already covered a couple of these. So, intentionally some of the new features came up. Again, couldn't reinforce it more. And look, there's others, but I think Shopify, there are other e-commerce options, no doubt, depending on your technical aptitude and how far you want to go into it. But I think if you got to get started quick and you need to go now, I would do Shopify for sure. Get that 90 days. Yep. And again, be really creative with how you can productize your offerings. Can you sell T-shirts and merchandise? Like, for example, the Grateful Dead, famous band from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Sold sold way more in their t-shirts than they ever did in their albums. They were the first one that said, we create content and we give it away. Like, they would let people plug into the soundboard at concerts, right? And they said, pirate our music, steal it, take it. And this is in the 1960s, right? People thought they were insane, but they were geniuses, because what it did was it spread their music like crazy. And they made more money on secondary merch than they ever would have on their tours would sell out. And they actually, like, literally would sell out because of Deadheads following them around. They didn't covet the music, you know what I mean? They gave it away to create additional revenue streams that were actually a lot more flexible for them. So that's a mindset that I think is important. This one is one as well. A podcast, and start podcasting twice a week. Very similar in a sense to a live stream. Again, what you can do, and this is what actually this is going to launch next week because I got it all set up, is you just do a live stream, get the recording. You can rip the audio out. There's a bunch of online services that will do it. That'll turn it into an MP3 file, and you can go to Podbean. There's tons of others. How many others are there, right? Lots of podcasting platforms that for a low fee, you can upload it and boom, you will have a podcast, right?
Yep.
That would be perfect for like the knowledge-based businesses too. Like we're always talking about accountants and stuff like that, but even academics. Yep. Even if you find that you have like valuable information, that's a perfect way to get online, so you're getting people talking to you.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. But the legal community actually is really embracing podcasting in some very niche ways, technical IP, that kind of thing, but they're actually quite popular. Same thing with the dental industry. People have a lot of questions, like dentists, being able to create content. And, there's so many questions people have about those things in terms of professional services like that.
Yeah.
So... one of the last ones here, yeah. So, the last one for today, and we're kind of over, but I think it was worth it. We still have people here, so that's good, and that's a beautiful. Courtney Castle says, side note, they also have yeast and flour. Yeast and flour? I bought 2 pounds of yeast. I bought in bulk because I had to buy it. I wanted to make some bread, and apparently the whole world thought that there was going to be a bread shortage, which there isn't. I just wanted to make some bread, and I couldn't find any flour anywhere. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. It's like toilet paper and flour.
Well, now they're saying potatoes, I guess.
Potatoes?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's the latest one that I've heard.
Throw a few in the ground.
Yeah,
exactly. Right now, create a. Have you guys ever heard of creating a potato stack?
No, what's that?
So you basically take not 2x4s, but panels. You build a box, right? And each panel you fill up with dirt. You put your potatoes inside. They'll start growing. As you start to see them coming up, you add another layer of dirt and another panel, right? And then they'll start to grow up. And then you add more dirt, and you keep going. And what happens are the potatoes are growing, and as it gets taller, you get a bigger and bigger yield, right?
Well,
and then literally when you open it, you could have 10 pounds of potatoes.
Jeez.
Yeah. Instead of just planting them straight down, you go up. Yeah.
What is it called? A potato what?
There's a potato stack. Yeah.
Stardew Valley Dan over here.
Yeah, that's right, man. I love gardening. I do. I kill indoor plants though lately here. But we'll get there. Okay, one last thing for especially professional services. But I mean, I keep thinking about this stuff, and it's what I think about. I don't know why. Provide free virtual consultations for your customers. People have time. They're looking for knowledge and advice. And I'll use one that might seem a little bit silly, but I don't think it really is. If I'm a hairdresser and I can set up, I want to keep my clients, I want to keep in touch with my clients, right? I want to keep engaged with my clients and strengthen that relationship, then do a free 15-minute consultation while they're cutting their kid's hair or, their spouse's hair, and give them tips like, oh no, move the brush up, do this, right? It's okay, don't make a mistake. Free virtual consultations for your customers is a really powerful, and again, you don't have to try to sell to people, but it's a real way to strengthen that relationship with your customer base, right? In a fairly simple way. And again, I think for anybody, free virtual consultations could apply. I can't think of, a business where it really wouldn't apply, right? If you're a florist, like, do a free consultation. Hey, my houseplants are dying. What am I doing wrong? Okay, sure. Let's jump on book some time, 15, 20 minutes, and just answer their questions one-on-one, right? You can do a messenger call, WhatsApp, whatever you want. And I think there's a lot of value and goodwill that's built up by doing that.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. There you go. There you go, guys.
Wow.
Are you staring
That
out
was
the
alive.
window?
We had it.
What's that?
I said if that was alive, we had it.
Boom.
It was a good one.
Very good. Nice job. I have still got, by the way, what is it? Royal Indian Cuisine in Cambridge. Your butter chicken's awesome, although you guys need a rice option. That's all I want to say. But the butter naan and the butter chicken and the samosas, I mean, like homemade. Like,
Ooh.
I've still got a ton of it upstairs too. So if you're in Cambridge, Royal Indian Cuisine, highly recommended. Highly recommended. Good stuff.
Have to check it out.
All right, it's going to be a beautiful weekend if you're in lovely Southern Ontario. Well, I don't know. Is it going to be a lovely entire weekend? Is it going to rain?
It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah.
They said it was going to rain today, but it's blue skies, so
It's up in the air, I think.
the sky, yeah.
April says she planted some potatoes. Hope I don't kill them. I will say the potatoes are pretty hardy, April. As long as you don't dry them out completely, you should be pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. But you never know.
Awesome.
I know Courtney only buys succulents and cactuses because they're almost impossible to kill. Although I think, Courtney, didn't you kill a cactus one time or something? I can't remember. She might not be there anymore. All right. Well, you know what? It's a beautiful afternoon. So next time I will check the weather forecast, or I'll add a weather widget to my desktop. Have a great weekend, everyone. Like I said, if you have know anybody that is looking for any digital marketing advice or business marketing advice, and they are in tough straits, just get a hold of us at Hi@Honeypot Marketing or Dan at Honeypot Marketing. We're happy to help. No sales pitch involved. Just want to help. So
For sure.
Have yourselves a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you next Friday for episode 129.
See you guys.